What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Powerhouse Mentality podcast. I am your host. I am Caitlin Kenna-Smith, and on today's episode of the podcast, I'm going to give you guys exactly what I gave to my free private Facebook community, the Powerhouse Mentality community page, on our Monday training. So every single Monday, we have a free training that I do at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we talk about different topics relating to mindset, relating to personal development, but also going into nutrition and training and recovery to be able to help these people who are in the community become the best version of themselves. And that's really what the community is all about. We're building community through competition, but the only way for us to be able to compete with each other is that we need to continue to level ourselves up. And that's exactly how we do that, through training, through all of the things that we offer in the group, and just pushing each other to be better. Now, this week's topic was titled The True Secret to Sustainable Fat Loss. And I know I've done an entire 8-week series on this podcast. If you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to it. It's called Your Sustainable Fat Loss Journey. And there's 8 parts to that I go through step by step, teaching you how to be successful on your own sustainable fat loss journey. Now, during this training, the true secret to sustainable fat loss, it was a little bit less focused on the physical side of things, like calories and protein and fiber and the nutrition and the training and the recovery. And it focused a lot more on the psychological or the mindset piece that really plays a huge role in you being able to build a sustainable fat loss. Or you can relate this to any area of your life where you're trying to build something where you're sustaining the results. 80% of people who lost weight gain it back over the first 12 months. Meaning that 80% of the people who start a weight loss journey on January 1st will gain all of the weight that they lost back by January 1st the next year. And you're probably thinking about that and you're like, yeah, 80%, that's a lot, but you can probably relate to it in some way, shape, or form. Whether it is with your fitness journey or whether it's with another journey that you're on trying to accomplish a goal where you move forward and then it becomes monotonous, you hit a little bit of an obstacle, and then you just go backwards because you haven't done this. 20% of the people, the other 20%, right? Because there's the 80% who gain it all back, but what about the 20% that don't? They've figured out this mindset, and that's the true difference. Could you go into other things like, oh, well, the 20% who are more successful, they're probably doing a less restrictive plan. They're probably focusing on building muscle, which was the other part, the physical part of the secret to your sustainable fat loss is building muscle. But we talk about that enough here that I want to talk about this mindset first, and then we can get into the muscle. They are more focused on the journey rather than being so obsessed with the outcome. They fall in love with the process. They fall in love with the journey of the goal instead of falling in love with the goal. So I'll use the example of somebody who's trying to lose 20 pounds. If they're focused on the goal, they'll probably get there. But then once they hit that 20-pound weight loss, instead of having the mentality as I'm always going to keep doing this because I fucking love the process of doing it, you instead get to the goal and you think, well, now what? And then now what usually reflects in you just going back to old habits or not believing in yourself enough to continue doing the things that you've been doing. So you self-sabotage, you experience doubt, and you go right back to where you started, and sometimes, unfortunately, even further back. And then you just kind of stay stuck in that cycle where you lose the 20 pounds, you gain it all back, you lose 10 pounds, you gain it all back. And research is very clear that every single time that you have a dramatic weight loss, it becomes more challenging to lose the weight again because of the damage. Damage is not the correct word, because of what's happening to your metabolism. As you become a smaller person, you burn less calories. It's just natural. So a lot of the people who lose a dramatic amount of weight, they're not usually doing it the correct way where they're trying to maintain and build as much muscle as possible. So in the process of losing 20 pounds, maybe 10 of those pounds is muscle. So they've lost 10 pounds of muscle, meaning that they've lost the most metabolic tissue in the body that burns the most calories at rest. And if you continue to do this over and over and over again, you're probably gaining, not muscle, you're probably gaining back body fat. So you're just taking the muscle that you did have and replacing it with body fat, and it just makes this cycle so much more challenging for you. Now, obviously, the biggest fix right here would be focus when you're trying to lose weight. Don't focus on losing weight. Weight loss is very simple and very easy. I can just tell you, hey, go move a shit ton, go do 2 hours of cardio a day, and eat 1,000 calories a day. You'll lose fucking weight, I promise you. Is it sustainable? No, and I guarantee you that a lot of the weight that you do lose will be muscle tissue. So, if you want to do it the right way, then making sure you're focusing on strength, gaining and building muscle through protein intake and strength training, and not burying yourself in cardio in order to lose a couple more fucking inches. It doesn't work. It's not the sustainable approach. It might work temporarily. But would you rather lose the weight, keep it off, and never have to do it again? Or would you rather just continue to fucking get hit in the face with this lesson that you never learn? So with the mindset or the psychological piece of this, you have to teach yourself to fall in love with the process. That's why it's not as simple as calories in versus calories out. Is it technically? Absolutely. That's just energy balance. It's fucking science. But because you're not a robot and you're a human being with psychology and emotions, then it isn't that simple. So how do we start to implement this mindset of falling in love with the process instead of being obsessed with the goal? So that way you can actually sustain your results and enjoy doing it. Because if you're fucking miserable along the way, then what's the point? Are there going to be different challenges that come up and different times where maybe it's a little bit more challenging and maybe you're a little bit miserable? Maybe. But for the vast majority of people, being healthy should be enjoyable. If you're prepping for a bodybuilding show, that might be a different story because there's going to be really fucking miserable times while you're on bodybuilding prep. But you signed up for bodybuilding prep. Nobody forced you to fucking do it. So don't complain about it. Think of it like this. If you fall in love with the process, you're more willing to do something that you enjoy or that you have a perspective towards that you enjoy. That's why perspective is so powerful in life because it drives our performance. If you have a piss poor perspective towards your workout plan, towards your nutrition, because you feel like you're missing out on other things, then it's very temporary, the results that you're going to see, because you're doing everything in your head to not do it anymore. That's why you're stuck in this cycle. But it's very easy to get out of this cycle by simply shifting your perspective and focusing on the right things. So there are 5 different things that I've outlined here that I want you guys to focus on when you're trying to start to fall in love with the process. Number 1, start small. Small things done consistently over time compound to create massive change. I talk about this concept so often because it works. You have to build your own momentum. Momentum isn't going to create itself. Think of momentum, I always think of a small snowball starting at the top of a giant hill. And then as the snowball goes down the hill, it starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it gets faster. And all of a sudden, the tiny snowball that couldn't even knock through a piece of paper is now able to take down a brick wall because it's gained so much power and so much momentum along the journey. Now take that same snowball where it's starting and stopping and starting and stopping. It's not going to gain the speed or the momentum or the power to be able to break through the brick wall at the bottom. You have to think of your own journey in the same light. Are there going to be, are there going to be challenging times where maybe you have to have a bad day? Yeah, of course. That's just part of the fucking journey. But if you use that one day as an excuse to why you can't take care of yourself, that's a problem. Now, a lot of people, when they start off on a fitness journey, they tend to get overwhelmed by looking at the end goal. Because if you only look at the outcome, say that's lose 20 pounds, 20 pounds that's a good amount of weight, right? Like pick up a 20-pound dumbbell. I have to lose one of these? That can be overwhelming for somebody. So overwhelming, in fact, that people don't fucking take action. Paralysis by analysis. We've all heard the term. So instead of overthinking yourself to not taking action, start with something small. If you're doing nothing right now, go for a 5-minute walk after each meal. If you're doing nothing right now, start eating some sort of protein source at each meal. Start eating more whole foods. Start drinking more water. Small things done consistently over time compound, and they're going to create the massive change that you're after, but it starts with one thing. Number 2, shift your focus or shift your perspective, right? Shift your focus from focusing on the outcome to the journey. It's as simple as that. However, it isn't as simple as that. I wish it was. So a couple things that you can do to help this is to focus on the things that you actually have control over. When you feel like you have no control in your life, then you start to dig holes in your life. Now, once you give yourself back control, you're more confident and you're more able to do the things that you need to get done. So here's the things that you can control always, no matter what. Your attitude, your effort, and your actions. You can always control those 3 things, so control them. Take action. Don't wait. Take messy action if you must. And always when taking action, take action on the things that align with your goals. Have a positive attitude. No matter what's going on in your life, you can always have a positive attitude, and I bet that you'll move forward far faster in life than somebody who has a negative attitude all the time. When it rains, it pours, because when you have a negative attitude, the universe gives you negativity in return. But the same thing goes for positivity. So remain positive that things will work out no matter what you're going through, because they always do. And effort. You always have the ability to give your best effort. Effort is always a choice, so choose it. Because I'll be honest, nothing feels better than giving your best effort towards something. Nothing beats that feeling. I don't care how good a chocolate chip cookie is. Nothing beats the feeling of giving your best effort towards something, finishing it and saying, I gave everything that I had to that. And no matter what the outcome is, you can be satisfied with that. So focusing on things that you can't control simply creates more anxiety, because when we don't have control, we have anxiety. That's where it comes from. So once you give yourself back control through your attitude, your effort, and your actions, and one of the biggest things that you always have control over when it relates to your actions is your fucking nutrition. I can't stand it when a client tells me, I've been so busy, it's been so hectic, I haven't been able to stay on track with my nutrition. When life is overwhelming, chaotic, and out of control, you have the power to be able to control the food that you put in your body because you need to eat still. Is it maybe not going to be the most perfect ideal choice? Maybe not. But you always have the power to make the best choice that's right in front of you. And when you give yourself control over your nutrition, you give yourself back control when your life feels overwhelming and out of control. And that gives you a sense of control, which takes away additional anxiety, and you feel better. Number 3, create a personal connection towards your journey. If you have no reason as to why you're doing this, you're probably not going to continue doing it. And you have to have a powerful personal connection. Intrinsic motivation is the correct term. Think of it like this. If it's 5 a.m., it's cold, it's dark, it's raining outside, and you promise yourself that you were going to get up and go to the gym today, but the bed is nice and warm and snuggly, what's going to get you up out of bed? Is it going to be the thought of losing 20 pounds? Or is it going to be the thought of being alive for your daughter's wedding so you can be as healthy as possible to walk her down the aisle. Which one gets you out of bed? Probably not just the 20-pound weight loss journey. So have a personal connection as to why you want to lose the 20 pounds. Or why you want to do whatever you want to do in your life. One of the reasons why I wake up every morning and work as hard as I do is because I want to provide my family with the life that I believe they deserve. I want to create the most beautiful life experience for my husband and I. And that's why I work so fucking hard. I want to be able to take care of my mom when she can't take care of herself. And I don't want to be the kid who said, I can't afford to take care of my mother, so she's in a nursing home. I don't want to be that person. I want to be able to show all of the girls who ever caused harm to themselves that they're worth so much more. And they have so much more to give to the world. Because that time that I had in my life where it was the darkest time of my life, where I was purposely hurting myself and purposely trying to kill myself with an eating disorder, I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. I have a personal connection to my why, or to my journey. Create a powerful personal connection to yours, and you'll get out of bed whenever the fuck you need to get out of bed. I promise you. Is it easy? Never. But nothing worth having in life is easy. Number 4, be mindful and be fucking present. Appreciate the moment that you're in currently. So many of us worry about how far we have to go because we're so focused on the goal that we forget to appreciate the process of getting us to the goal. Appreciate the journey. I think about this a lot when I'm working out, when I'm training, when I'm suffering in my garage. And I think about, I'm going to wish these moments back one day. I'm going to miss these really hard moments. Appreciate the journey right now because the journey goes fast. So appreciate where you're currently at and always be grateful for what you have. That's called having an abundance mindset. And number 5, the final one, and probably the one that is most overlooked, is celebrate your damn wins. Confidence is simply the memory of winning. So if you want to build confidence and build belief in your ability to accomplish a goal, you have to actually celebrate the wins that you have along the journey. You can't just go through it and only celebrate when you get to the end goal because, again, now what? Celebrate the little wins and don't allow those celebrations to distract you. Allow those celebrations to push you to go harder on your process. So when it comes to fat loss, when it comes to accomplishing really any sort of a goal that you have in your fitness journey or on your life journey, you have to fall in love with the process. Because when you fall in love with the process and you tell yourself every day that you're going to wake up and you're going to give everything that you have to your process today and go to bed feeling fulfilled and accomplished at night, you're going to get to the goal. It's just a matter of time. So go all in on each and every day that you have. Go all in on your process and be confident that the goal will happen. You just never have to quit. So go out and do one thing today that's going to take you one step closer to where you want to be.